Hi, good morning. In this video, I'm going to explain how to enter some data in Excel using a VBA code and how to find out the last used row and last used column in MS Excel. Let's go to the Visual Basic Editor and write the code for that. So as I said, we need to go to the Developer tab and click on a Visual Basics here. Now I'm going to insert my module. I'm going to insert my module here. So as I said, we need to write our code it in a sub procedure within a subroutine. So I'm going to give my sub. I'm just giving a cell as my procedure name. Now I want to select the first cell. Let's say A1 cell I want to select or A2 cell I want to select. How we can select by using a VBA code? By using the cells property, we can select the that specific cell. So I'm just minimizing my VBA window to see what is the action that can be that is being performed when we run the code. So now I'm going to write a select here. So how we can select? So I'm just writing a cells of. Here if you see the syntax, it is showing row index number and column index number. What is row index number and what is a column index number? So here if you see this is the first column, this is the second column, this is the third column, fourth column, and if you see here this is the first row, second row, third row and fourth row. So these are the row numbers and these are the column numbers. Now I want to select the A1 row. I mean first row, first column I want to select now. So here in the cells property, what you have to give? You have to give a row index number and the column index number here. So I am going to give a row, my row index number is 1 and column index number is 1. And I am closing my bracket and dot select. So that's it. So when you run the code, I'm going to do the step into, observe here, my activated cell is at A2 now. As soon as this one is executed, my the active cell will go to the A1 cell. Let's go to the step into and see the cell got changed because we have selected based on the cells property. Now how to write some value into the cell. So here we have written to select some specific cell, right? We can write some value also in that same cell. How to write a value in the same cell? We can give a selection dot. We can give a value. Selection dot value equals to give something in that cell. I'm going to give a Excel VBA word. So whenever you are trying to give a text, when you are trying to write a text in your text into your Excel, or whenever you are trying to use the text in your VBA, you have to give in a double quotes. It should not be in a single quote. So I have given a double quotes. In a double quotes, I am just giving a Excel VBA. Let's try to run this code. I'm going to step into. So it's got selected A1 cell, and I'm going to do this step into again. This time, whatever the cell got selected, there the value will be printed as an Excel VBA. Just see, I'm going to execute this line as well. I clicked on a step into, and if you see here, it's a Excel VBA. So this is the one of the method. We can print some values here. You can use the another method also. So how to instead of doing a selection, we can directly enter a values here. So how to write? I'm taking another procedure here. Just I'm giving a cell 1 because the same name it will not take here. I have already taken a procedure name called cell. So here I'm just giving a cell 1 because the same procedure name it won't accept. So now instead of selecting, I'm going to write directly value to the specific cell. How we can write some values to the specific cell? I'm just giving a cells of here row index number. I want to print my value in A5. So in that case, what is my row index number? My row index number will be the 5 because it is a fifth row. And what is the column index number? I want to print my value into the A5 cell, so my column index number will be the 1. So here I'm giving the 1. So cells of 5 comma 1 equals to, whenever we give the one text into the Excel, or whenever you are using to the using a text in your Excel, you need to give it in a double quotes. In the double quotes, I am giving a Excel VBA again here. So this is the single line code now. Previously we were using the, first we are doing the selection, then selection dot value equals to Excel VBA. This is one of the method that we can use it when it comes to here. So I am directly passing the cells of 5 comma 1 equals to Excel VBA. When you run this code, automatically in A5 the value will be printed here. I am just going to the step into, yeah, I'm going to the step into. If you see here, the Excel VBA got printed at A5th cell, A5 cell. So this is how we can print some values in Excel. Now let's go. I have some. I'm going to just fill this data here till here, and I have filled my data here. Now I want to find out the, what is the last used row and last used column in my Excel. Here we can identify easily. Eighth row is the last used row, and F, which is nothing but a sixth column, is a last used column. So we can just count and try to find out the what is the last used row and last used column here. But when the code is executed, if you want to write a code in a dynamic way, so in that specific scenarios, you have to find out the last used row or a last used column in a Excel. Why? Because your code should be always a dynamic. It should not be a static. When I say the static and a dynamic means, static means, for example, you have given your last used row as a eighth, which is fixed. Maybe tomorrow data may get filled to 11th row. So it won't be captured in your code because you have hard coded that your last row is 8th. In that case, what will happen? Till 8th row only data will be captured, and remaining 3 will be ignored. So that is actually wrong. So that's the reason we always go with the dynamic process rather than going the static way. So that's the main reason that we need to find out the last user row and the last user column in a VBA. Let's see how, what are the different methods to find out the last user row and the last user column in VBA. There are different methods we have it. One method we can call it as a special cells method. So special cells method, which is which it can help to find the last used row as well as the last used column, and it help us to find the blank cells also by using the special cells method. Let's write some code by using a special cells method here. So I'm not going to write the same code in a same module, so we can insert another module. There is no issues. So I'm going to insert another module. So here is my module. If you want to, so see here, module 1, module 2, it may be like, if you're writing some code in your project, you may have to insert a multiple modules, something like that. So to understand easily, we can rename our module. So how to rename the module? You right click, just go to the view, click on a properties window. So here is the properties window. Just select it. Here is the module name. So you can rename your module. Now I'm going to rename my module as a last row column. So this is my module name. So as soon as I enter here, so see here, the last row or column is my module name. Now I just changed the module name to understand it easily. Now let's write a simple code to find out a last row and the last column. So for that I need to insert some. First we need to, what we have to do first. So we need to write a sub procedure. Sub. I'm just mentioning a last underscore row. Now I'm going to declare. First of all, I would like to find out the last row only. Then later we will just find out the last used column. Now I'm going to find out the last row. I'm going to declare my variable dim last row as integer. I'm declaring because last row will be the number only, so that's why I'm just declaring as an integer. And so I'm going to store the value to the variable. How we can store the values into the variable? Last row equals to, we have to use the special cells method to do that. How we can do that? Cells dot special cells. We have a special cells. Under the special cells we have a different types of properties here. So what are those? Excel type visible, Excel type same validation, so Excel type same format condition, Excel cell type last cell, Excel cell type formulas, Excel cell type constant. So like this we have a, there are different properties are available here in the special cells. So now I'm going to use, our purpose is to find out the last row. So that's the reason I'm going to select my Excel cell type a last cell, and I have to close. So once you close it, we need to tell that you want a last row or a last column, because special cells method, it is just showing the Excel cell type last cell, which is the cell, whether it is in the row or whether it is in the column. So we need to mention. So we are going to find out a row now. So that's why I'm going to give a row, and I want to see the output here. So I, whatever output is coming here, it is going to store in a variable which is a last row. Last row is my variable now. So I want to see what is the value in a last row. How we can see? By using a by using an immediate window. In immediate window we can see the results. So I'm just inserting a immediate window here. So this is my immediate window. To see the output in a immediate window, as we discussed in the last videos, how to see the output in a immediate window, I'll just give the debug dot print, debug dot print last row. Now I'm going to execute my code. Now let's run the code. I'm going to do step into, step into, step into, step into, step into, step into. So what is my last row here? Last row is a 11th, which is exactly matching now. So now let's see. Let's enter some extra data and see whether it is capturing the last row or not in the Excel. So I'm just copying my data and just extending the rows values. Yeah. Now my last row is 17 here. Now I'm going to run the code. Let's see whether it will capture our output as a 17. Initially it has taken as a 11, right? So now it should, it will capture 17 or not. Let's see. So I'm just running the code directly instead of going to the step into. Well, my output is 17 now. So this is how we can find out the last used row by using a special cells method. Now how can we find the last used column? It's the same process. We just need to give a column instead of a row. I'm just copy pasting the data here, code here, and I'm just modifying. My processor name is a last column, and I'll just remove row here, and I'm just giving a last column. So my variable is a last column here, and here, so cells dot special cells Excel type cell type last cell. Here I'm going to give a, instead of a row, I'm just going to give a column, and I'm just printing here. Instead of a last row, I'm just printing a last column. Now let's check what is our last row here. If you see, so what is our last row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sixth row is, six is the, sorry, sixth is the last column. And just go to the step into, step into, step into, step into. Here, if you see, the output is 6. So same output it is giving a as a last column. So here is the easy method that we can find out the last used row as well as the last used column. And there is another way also to find out the last used row and last used column. What is the other method? By using a end of Excel up, end of Excel down, or end of Excel to left, end of Excel to right. So this is the another method that we can find out a last used row and last used column. I would like to tell those methods also. Let's write here. I'm taking another sub procedure. I'll just give a last R. So how to find out the now last row, last row. So now we'll declare a variable dim last row as integer, last row equals to, here we can use the, here we have to use the range property. We have to use the range object. I'm going to explain the range object completely, how we can use it in coming videos. So for now we can use the range object. A range of, we need to give the total number of rows. What is the last row? Actually in the last row in Excel is 10,48,056. That is the last row here. I'm going to give a 10,48,576. So that is my last row. In end of, I'm just going to give a Excel up dot row. So this is how we can find out another. This is the finding of another way to find out a last used row. A range of 10,48,576, which is nothing but a last cell, not last used cell. Just remember, this is the last cell, which is the limitation, which is having a having it in Excel. So this is the end of Excel up and then row. And now I'm going to check this in a immediate window. Let's insert immediate window here. Debug.print. I'm running this code, and here it is also giving a 17 as a last row. What is the purpose? How the process is going on here? What it will do? We have mentioned here range of a 10,48,576. What it will do? It will go to the last cell first. Now the process I'm going to explain here. So a 10,48,576, which is the last row in Excel. Then we are doing the end of Excel up dot row. So from here it will start searching till the till it finds the value. So when till here it will come and it finds the value at 7. So it will give that row number here. So which is a 17. Like that we can find out the last column also. Now let's find the last used column. Same thing, I'm just copy pasting here, same code. And here I'll just use a last column, last column, last column. So here we have to give a last column here. So what is our last column? You just go here and check what is the last column. Last column is XFD is the last column. XFD1 we can give it here. XFD1 and Excel up. Now searching way, when we are finding out the last row, what is the searching way that we have given? Search way is like Excel up, which means it will come like this and it will search until the it find out some value. Now we are taking the last column here, that is the XFD1. Now in which direction it should search? It should search in a left direction. So that's why we have to give here, instead of Excel up, we should give the Excel to left, and here we should give a, instead of row we should give a column here, and here we should give a proper variable name. Now just run this code and see what is the column it has given. It is a sixth column. See, this is the sixth column. Let's expand our data.